That is quite interesting because it's hard to tell if it's going to be a core or a support Naga. I think it's a bit early to call.
They run core a lot.
I think it's probably more or less core, I feel, because MVP Phoenix have been known to actually run. I mean, they are a Southeast Asian team, and most of the Southeast Asian teams would prefer to run her as a core.
Then my question is, if it is a core, why would you reveal the Naga already? Because it hasn't been banned last series, and they went for the same type of draft, like aggressive draft that doesn't fit at all another core.
I think it's because it's uncertain, right? It's easy for us to say, but
they're ready to switch it up.
Yeah, for them, maybe they are feeling we can still switch it up.
Okay.
And what's Vici going to look for? If they want the Brood, do you think it's still the game for the Brood right now?
Sort of. If it creates space for the last pick, I could see a Brood working. If it is the core of the lineup, I don't think it fits so well.
The biggest problem with that is you might have trouble pushing high ground.
Yeah, definitely.
With the Brood, like Lina or Shaker Rubik, not your best high ground sieging lineup. And you want to end the game early versus Naga. You have to.
Yep.
Rubik actually, 100% win rate so far still. One of the only ones left. 8-0.
So it is indeed the Broodmother. I feel like picking the Broodmother sort of forces them to not run a Naga core.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to run a Naga core now. I mean, it's possible still, but it's very risky. But what other options do they have against Brood right now as a carry hero?
5 seconds.
If they run an X Queen of Pain lineup, I mean, the lineup doesn't feel that strong, and
no, really
Vici has the last pick, so they can actually just pick something that's really good late game.
It's pretty tough because neither Co-op or Clockwork really matches well versus the Broodmother in a 1v1 situation. Even if you have sentries as Co-op, you can probably hold the lane first levels, but then at some point it gets harder. A Brood is going to get a lot of space.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think it has to be Naga core. I mean, if they draft another, like a core and put Naga on support, their late game is just going to be super weak. And they're still going to have trouble.
Yeah, I agree as well. So they need a support that can actually deal with the Brood, a support that has AoE. Right? You can clear the Spiderlings. So far, I'm thinking Sand King, but their lineup seems weak with Sand King as well. It has synergy with the song, but I'm not sure how well it will work.
They could go for the Spirit Breaker again if they like it on position 4. It's a decent hero to have versus Brood as well.
Safe lane Storm maybe, but I mean then. I mean all their
options are just like
they're pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's not exactly good, but it's like we are trying to find a solution.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to find a hero that salvages that draft completely, but I feel like with the Naga core they might get overrun early game. It's definitely their best late game option, but it's a bit scary. You're facing Brood Shaker. You can never assess that the Brood's gonna be by himself, and there's always that Shaker that stays behind with the Fisher or something like this. It's very hard to fight into.
Well, it looks like Vici is expecting to be a core to still be picked up as they ban out the Bloodseeker. Oh, there's the dash.
Okay, so we were actually right about it. It's gonna be a Naga core coming from Phoenix. Dazzle plus Witch Doctor. I kind of feel like the Broodmother has a very good chance of just overrunning this lane when she gets her levels.
I think it's a very, very risky pick. Dazzle, obviously, a lot of synergy with the Naga, has laning potential at killing heroes, but against Brood, it's different.
I mean, if Brood is successful at gaining her levels, I think she can actually just destroy the lane.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the backup of a Shaker, Lina with the port. Just whatever backup he gets from his teammates, and they're gonna completely destroy the safe lane of MVP Phoenix. And we also get a Co-op versus Lina matchup. That's not the best matchup as well. That's probably a Storm safe lane.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be on How as well. I agree with you.
Tough game for MVP Phoenix. That's how I see it.
Okay, draft is over. It's time for game time in game number 2 as we head back down to the arena with Toby1 and Sinrun.
Thank you very much. Yes, let's welcome it back for game number 2, Vici Gaming versus MVP. The draft is done, Sind, and it looks like Vici Gaming are in a very comfortable position.
This Brood is going to be a really, really big problem. The moment MVP picked the Naga, I was like, okay, they're picking Brood. They actually took a lot of time to do it. I'm not sure if they were considering alternatives or if they just forgot about the Brood themselves and they were like, wait, we could get Brood, and they just immediately went for it. But this is the kind of game, just like, I can't remember if it was Winter or Matt who said it, but this is the game where Brood can just completely take over the game. If they do not shut down Ice 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 here, this could end up being a very one-sided game, which would of course be a big shame. The last game was pretty close and very exciting. Generally, Brood has a tendency to sometimes just run over games and other games be fairly weak. I feel like it's pretty rare you see a Brood mother be like, okay, you know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see here. Now, that said, if MVP get off to a good laning stage and then get a farmed Naga, I don't see VG having very good counters to the split push of the Naga either. They have the Storm that can pick her off, but if you just keep sending farmed illusions out, they don't have the best illusion clearing heroes. So that's the win condition for MVP. They have to go super late.
Let's see if they can do it. For me, I'm questioning if it is going to be possible on this bot lane. These 2 sentry wards, which have been brought down by the Dazzle, are going to be needed to keep Broodmother out, but it's Ice's Broodmother. He's got so much experience with his hero, and he sees things coming from a mile away, putting the webs over the jungle, and his micro is fantastic on the Spiderlings. He'll always see when the MVP player will rotate down. I'm very skeptical to see if Naga is capable of finding that farm. And then, what farm does she go? Like, is this one of these games where you say, I need to have a Radiant split push? Is that what you have to look for from this core Naga?
Yeah, that question is how many build-up items he goes. These days, when you play core Naga, you very, very rarely see core Naga played without Radiance. It is possible to do a combat build with Manta Diffusal, but I would not advise it in this game. Most of the time we see Bottle, Aquila, or one of those two, and then into, I think a new trend has been getting Arcane Boots, because you can disassemble it later into Octarine Core. So maybe that build-up for KP here could be a thing.
Take more aggression, but QO actually locked in here. He doesn't have a blink to get out of this one. And now, running around the corners, the first blood, it goes the way of Super. The Paralyzing Cast gave MVP more confidence to go on Super, because it bounced straight back up to the Lina and not to the creep wave. And that is not the start MVP needed. You have just given levels to a Lina mid.
Yeah, she's level 2.5 against the level 1.5 of QO, so a full level advantage. Of course, there are... Actually, no, there are not more creeps for QO to claim here. So this is a full level advantage, more or less, for Super. Not the start they needed.
No, they needed to have a nice, comfortable laning phase. Lina being low on farm. Even Ice, he's not level 2. But slowly and surely he's going to find these levels. A big creep wave went down for KP underneath the tower. He's doing a good job of finding a lot of the last hits down there too. Meanwhile on top lane, we have to keep in mind this Clockwork, a really great initiator, a great rotation hero. And if you're looking for someone that can gank up the Brood, he'll be one of them. A hook shot in with Dust. QO again, he'll blink himself away, but that Fissure, the Earthshaker, always there at the right time to cause issues for this Queen of Pain. Man, March, don't get too close on that. But at least he knows the Earthshaker's not going to harass him out. In fact, we're just watching Fenrir starting to stack up inside the Dire jungle. They're getting prepared to also flash farm up the Lina.
This is a very, you know, we're 2 minutes in, but it's a worrying situation for MVP because they don't have very good aggressive ganking supports. Dazzle and Witch Doctor together have pretty minimal kill potential, so I think the Lina mid for Super is going to feel very safe and very confident in playing aggressively, especially when Fenrir backs him up. And that means we could be looking at a situation where Vici Gaming could be winning all 3 lanes simply because Hal will definitely win top against Clockwork. It's a very easy matchup for the Storm Spirit. The mid lane is going splendidly for them, and the bottom lane, currently the Naga is of course out farming the Brood right here in the start, but Ice is finding levels. That's what it's all about in the beginning for Brood. Find your level 5, that's when your lane really starts snowballing for you. And the good news for Naga is of course she has 8 armor. That is very, very valuable against this hero.
Yeah, so Ice won't be just out to harass her down, but as you said, Ice is just waiting for his levels, moving up, and then we'll pick up something on the lines of having that Soul Ring. He's already got the recipe in his inventory. And once he's picked up that Soul Ring, wow, are they going again? Able to salve up. Nuts was in the neighborhood, but Super, you can't keep letting this happen. Because you're sitting at a point right now as the Lina where the level 6 is rapidly approaching. So you drop down low like this and you're Lagooted to death. The status quo will not remain this way.
Just look at how far up he's playing. He's playing 1-on-2. Now the Shaker rotates in, but until then,
Super shots, flash like a ray. QO barely blinking away in time. A little bit of harassment on Super, and that cast can keep bouncing all at once. Super's still got bottle charges, and with a Slave duo, down to 17 life.
If he hadn't missed that uphill attack, he did miss, right?
No, I'm fairly certain they're connected.
His attack connected?
Yeah.
Okay. Because else that, if that was a miss, it would have been a kill for sure. It's like 15 health on the Queen of Pain once again. So she's forced back to base. This is a very difficult laning stage for QO, a player who we've seen generally in MVP's games do very, very well in lane. Last game with the Slark, he played up evenly against Alina. We saw him against VP yesterday, I think it was, with the incredible TA performance. Was that the VP series? No, that was against Empire 2 days ago, I think, where his Templar assessment was incredible. But he is really far behind, and this is a different game situation than what he's used to.
It really is. And the hope still rests with the Naga Siren. Ice actually helped out a little bit. Naga's now on top of the CS board, but that's only because he keeps getting this Riptide on the little broodlings that are walking close. So KP's getting some extra cash into a Naga, a very dangerous situation for VG. But FY, I can't get in range for the lift over on March, but he'll walk away to safety. How's the stacks looking? So there's triple stacks inside the jungle for the Lina. And she can move up and farm that in just a couple of moments' time. The Fissure looking for the block, the Light Strike Array again, QO. Wow. He's living life on the edge.
A quarter of a second every time from dying. That also means it's a little bit of missed timing from Vici Gaming, actually, because that combo isn't too difficult to land. It's a 1 second stun, but of course they need to try to conceal it as much the best they can with Super not going in way too aggressively, but they're probably a little bit disappointed they haven't killed this quad more than once, because they've had a chance or two.
But what they have done is just keep the CS at absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You're 11-4 up against Alina 26-6. That's a lot to play around with right there for the Lina. And QO, he's just so scared of coming close to the lane. And rightly so. He keeps dying when he does. Or at least coming close to dying. Looks like March is moving all the way back too. That creep wave's way too far out. So he's backing up to regenerate, but there's no quick way in. There's no hook shot yet. He's still just shy of level 4.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ice is level 6.5. It's a big experience and gold advantage. And
is he coming down for this kill? If he hangs on the back of KP here, spawns pilings and still another 5 seconds, so we won't find the opening there.
This lane is over if it's 1-on-1. This is what I was saying. They could win all 3 lanes, and I'm saying that as the Naga has 46 CS against the 22 of Ice. But he can out-farm the Naga. He can spam her out of lane. He can farm the jungle with the Broodlings. And it's a pretty rough spot for MVP. They're probably going to have to keep at least one support pinned down there just to help the Naga Siren.
But QO seems to be needing all the support with Fenrir and Super with this combo. Even if they're not finding the kills, they're keeping MVP's attention towards that mid lane. And there's no real reaction that you can have from MVP that's going to really stop Brood, because if you move down for him, all he's going to do is just hide in the tree line. Or move into the Radiant jungle. He'll always be away. QO, again, blinking out. Nuts comes in with a cask. It's going to bounce a little bit, but really QO, he's at a point where he's actually relying on Voodoo Restoration, so he doesn't have to burn the bottle charges he's got. Just so he can stand in the lane. At least he can find CS underneath this tower, but with Super having a double damage rune and Laguna Blade up. It's a dangerous world.
They're moving in 2 defensive supports with heals here, just to save QO. It's so easy playing the side lanes for Vici Gaming right now. There's absolutely no pressure on them whatsoever. Ice can do whatever he wants bottom. How is just free farming top.
They've actually moved Ice. So Ice has gone deeper into the Radiant jungle. Just say the normal phrase of like, okay, they've moved the Broodmother into the jungle. You'd think it's on the Dire side. He could just take over the Radiant side, and they give FY the space on bot lane to find his level 6, as well as probably Arcane, Blink Dagger, whatever his heart desires. He should be able to get it. They're preparing again for mid. But there's not enough mana in the Lina. Only 4 1 charges. That's not going to be enough to have a Laguna Blade as well as a Slave.
It's getting a haste rune now, though. It's going to be pretty helpful.
That'll do the job.
And Ice is looking to try to steal the enemy stack. He's not really managing very well, but
it's difficult when your Spirelings are so weak. At least up against such a big stack. And QO, they're realizing that something's happening around here and that Ice is around. At the same time, FY's moved in. Well done, Ice. Centaurs don't like it when multiple units are around. He's actually using his insatiable hunger to do this. The Clockwork Rocket's helping to scout out what's happening.
He actually got the last hit with the rocket, too. Ice didn't really get much out of that. Blind Maledict, level 1. Not really sure what that was about.
Dire's bottom tower is
Maybe he thought Broodmother was walking towards him.
Oh, fair enough, but it deals like 0 damage when...
Ice is going to get this kill. Spawn Spiderlings. Witch Doctor was just being chipped down. They throw down a sentry ward so at least they can see the Spiderlings. Nice caught in the cliff for the moment. Now he walks out, but FY still here. And MVP, to protect the stack, they bring 4 heroes into the lane. Now Fenrir's got the space on bot lane. FY, what did he actually steal? He stole Riptide, level 4. This just feels like one of those slow, like steamrollers coming at MVP. You know they're going to get flattened.
They have to play aggressively with the Clockwork.
It's the only choice.
I feel like there is absolutely no alternative to just having the Clockwork get really active around the map. If he goes top again to lane, he probably feels like he's doing fine up there, getting level 6 and 23 CF at minute 9, but it's just not going to work for the overall game plan. Him and QO, all the pressure are on these 2 cores for MVP to make space for the Naga, and Naga's going to need a lot of time here.
Well, at least he's had some time. Managed to pick up the Arcane Boots as well as a PMS. So onto the Aquila, but they find an opening. It's going to be Howl on top lane, right in front of the Invis rune. Stolen, but hey, that's a level 6 Storm Spirit. He just bowls himself away to safety. And in fact, will probably just farm up the jungle while he's in the neighborhood. Head back to base later on. Well, KP, the only way he can farm and do anything on this bottom lane is with illusions, but they're on cooldown. There's a large army of Spirelings coming after him, and FY, remember, he's got the Riptide, so he's got a lot of damage behind him. And that's why they bring in the Dazzle.
That's pretty uncharacteristic not having Song at level 8.
It's all about the laning phase.
Yeah, he is 100% farm-centric here, but, you know, if you die one time because of not having Song, that extra point in either Riptide or Mirror Image you had would probably not have been worth it.
It could even just be a setup to try and pick off one support or anything on the bot lane. March in the meantime is a Clockwork tower pusher for MVP.
He's doing very little so far.
Yes.
In that regard.
QO is at least able to scout out that Ice is here, walking around inside that Invis rune he stole previously. Actually hits Ice with that scream. And the sentry wards are down. They saw Ice, but it was too late.
top tower is under attack.
He backs into the lane. Screams will at least able to find another 4 Spiderlings. And they're doing everything they can to harass his bottom lane. Ice is still fairly low. But at the same time, you have a Lina with a Light Strike Array with a Fissure set up. They can kill at any point, and a Witch Doctor trying to soak up levels is an easy pick-off target.
Tower is under attack. Dire's structures.
Well, top lane, I'm wondering if Hao is thinking about trying to solo this. I think he might have a shot. Right, now he doesn't.
Need max mana.
He has a lot of mana, because he has 3 bottle charges.
Mid lane again, Fissure, QO. Yeah, commit the Laguna Blade. They weren't going to have enough damage before the Blink would come in, so they just say, you know what, ensure that Queen of Pain stays down. And it's a 0-2 Queen of Pain up against this Lina, who's now got 3 kills and 72 CS. The top CS still belongs to the Naga, but she does not hold the top net worth. That belongs to the Lina at 5.8k compared to the 5k of the Lina. The only thing the Naga's got really going for her is 2,000 gold. The Relic into the Radiance, buying some time. You haven't lost any early tier 1 towers. It looks like VG Gaming are just playing this more of a wait style game. The Brood's still going to catch up for a little bit of farm. Everything's just taking a little bit more time.
Yeah, it could definitely be worse for MVP than it is now. Like, only having died 4 times at minute 13 with these heroes against you is not too shabby with what they have for themselves. But a
4-man smoke, MVP.
They haven't found any of their own.
They're right around the corner from Ice now. They can see the Spiderlings farming there. But they know that smoke could just break, and they're just going to run to the Dire jungle, but that's not where VG Gaming are. The Song of the Siren's going to have to come out nice and early because VG are ready for the gank. Ice is moving in. The Fidget can be the initial stun, and KP so low on mana, even though he's got the regeneration rune. The Arcane Boots is now going to give him that Song of the Siren. But he's going to, well, he uses it. Catches out 2, breaks the smoke, and just says, hell no, just escape. TP's up to the top lane. Even sleeps up Hal as he arrives.
Dire's middle tower is under
But it's all that Vici had bottom tower.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Saw them with the wards, he would just backed out before it got really dangerous, and I think this is a fine play from the Naga. It was just too risky. He's also able to perhaps defend the top
You'll
tower.
set super going on the clockwork. March fairly tanky, a very early Shallow Grave and Echo Slam committed. March has a hook shot and they're looking for a revenge kill. They're going to find one on the Earthshaker into the Death Ward super, dropping so low. MVP, huge kills for them. Take a tier 1 tower, they get 2 big calls, including the Lina down. The Widowstone gets the extra cash. And once again, they're going to buy more space for this Naga Siren. They take the mid tower, good money, but Hal trying to pull it back again. There's a burst heal onto Hal, and what stall is going to only be Scream, but Hal jumping up, burning through the mana. QO wants to stick with him, actually baited out the Shadow Strike to force another leap. Meanwhile, on bot lane, Brood doing broody things.
That was a really good play from MVP. They got the 2 kills mid. Sure, they lost their clock, but in addition to that, they also held the top tower because of Naga's TP. And now KP is only 800 away from the Relic. They can slow down this game even more. So far, doing a good job. The bottom tier 2 tower also barely took any damage from Ice.
Yeah, just the tier 1 tower dropping, but they're going to lose QO now. 1 charges won't be enough to keep him alive. In fact, couldn't even get him mana. So QO drops on the bottom lane. A good gank in from Hal. And Hal's going to go for even more kills, that is, as he's going for the Bloodstone build. Top lane, there is real trouble, actually missing it. Super didn't get the Line Strike array. KP needs to TP out in time, and the creep wave is keeping Super away. Real problems in the hook shot, also off target. March was hoping for a revenge kill into that Lina. She committed everything to that. And the Light Strike array was all the damage she required to kill off KP, but missing the target. And that's a huge mistake. That means KP might be able to actually finish up his Relic.
He's looking to find whatever he can bottom. He gets a couple of CS here and forces Hao away, but they're still going to be losing their mid tower. This is the thing that will inevitably happen when Brood has enough time. You start building a whole network to travel between the mid and bottom lane. And oh, maybe MVP can get the deny here. Looks like Ice is letting them have it. It's going to go the way of Kiro.
Well, that's 2 tier 1 towers down. That top one's also not too healthy, only 175 points of life. And Vici Game can now start to really control up the Radiant jungle. With the removal of those tier 1 towers, MVP don't have the front TP positions. So it's probably going to be even more of an expense when it comes to wards to keep tabs on where Vici Gaming are moving. For moments like, well, I'm not saying moments like this when Hao jumps in, they're only the illusions which are down there. But moments when KP does this, he moves in close to farm up on the Satacamps right underneath the Dire Observer ward. This is where Vici Gaming can move over and just ensure the Naga Siren doesn't find that 3800 that he's searching for.
And it is actually a fairly easy kill. KP has 900 health. He's got high armor, but Storm Spirit has a lot of magical damage, and if they rotate in, for example, the Rubik plus just a spawn Spiderlings, he is dead, and it looks like he might actually be on the receiving end here if he's not careful.
He's up so far.
He's reading it well, though. Moving away.
She can get a decent amount of farm here. Riptide's up for a little bit, then backs up the Arcane Boots again, keeping the mana up. As Ice preparing for the late game. It's a Hand of Midas build for him early on, 17 minutes in.
Hand of Midas and Medallion. This is a little weird.
It almost feels like this.
You could have bought it earlier. He's setting them out together.
It looks like they're trying to prepare for an earlier Roshan instead. They give Hao and Aegis the Immortal once to get that Bloodstone and get really aggressive into MVP. Just hump that Naga Siren before she can get tanky items. The tier 1 tower is still going to go the way here of MVP. And with that now, KP can farm up this top lane, Scream to help, and that's going to be the Relic money. So 17 minutes and 30 seconds in. Putting a lot of attention towards KP with his farm, but that's still because we've basically flagged it. Naga Siren is the hope for MVP, while Vici Gaming just want to inflict more and more damage. And they need to do it before this full Radiance, as well as a couple of tanky items that arrive for the Naga. And they're doing a great job. The tier 2 tower's about to drop. Mass Spiderlings get to come in. And there's nothing MVP can really do about this. Like, your Clockwork Rocket to keep out, but 4 points rocket is nice. It is going to stall up Vici's push, but it does not stop it. Storm Spirit will take the last hit. And TP's back up to the top, where his full Bloodstone is now waiting for him. 18 minutes in for Hao. Really good farm for him.
Oh, yeah, the game plan is just coming along nicely for Vici. But they're not managing to find KP. It's really impressive they haven't managed to gank him once in 18.5 minutes. So MVP are doing a good job to advance the plan of their own as well. The problem is, even with the Radiance, he's still going to need a lot more time. It's the first step on the way, and the one that actually, or not actually, absolutely has to happen for them to have a chance. Then when they build up that chance, he needs to keep maximizing his farm, but he's going to start putting some more pressure on the map. Now what's going to be scary is that Hao will probably build an Orchid next. He just bought an item. What's that? It's a robe. So I think that's pretty much telling that it will be an Orchid. And that will allow him to pick off the Quap and or the Naga.
Which basically means that you need to see that Mana Star coming out almost instantly from the Naga after that Radiance is completed. But with the Relic already up, like KP sitting at a point where it's got 1,000 gold. This should actually be a 20-minute Radiance in for the Naga. While Vici Gaming, this is what we're talking about with the Medallion, is all about moving in to take out Roshan, give Hao immortality, and get more Bloodstone charges up and kill MVP wherever they can find them.
Some decent split push being done top by KP. He got the tier 2 down to half.
There's the Radiance, just shy of 20 minutes.
It's a pretty good timing when you're under this much pressure from Broodmother, to be honest.
Yeah. And now as you see the pressure being pushed back, ice! The Sonic Wave with the Clockwork Rocket! They actually just killed him off. QO was waiting in the tree lines. He blinked out, screamed Sonic Wave, and he timed it perfectly with a level 4 rocket from March. And a much needed kill for March. He's going ahead of Minus build. He wants to have momentum, not to mention putting Broodmother in the grave. And they might actually find another opening. Top River, it's going to be nuts. This is going to be super to do the work this time. Able to find that pick-off, and another early timing on an item. It's going to be the Aghanim Scepter in 350 gold for Lina.
Yep, it's going to be another axe coming out, which is QO. He's going to have it at minute 21, which is around the same time as Lina, but Lina is a full Yules ahead. That's just the mid lane. That's the way it went this time. QO got absolutely countered in that lane by both Lina and Shaker, so he's probably around 2,500 gold behind the Lina, I would imagine. Yeah, about that, 2,300, so...
Fabby being jumped on the top lane. FY steals the heal, turns it around, but Marshall hookshot in, being telekinesis grabbed by FY. The cogs burning off Hao, and QO looking for a good fight here. Hao will refuse to give him one until that rocket's going to connect. QO still no ultimate on him. The Sonic Wave might do, the Scream might do a little bit of damage here to FY if you can get close enough, including Shadow Strike. But telekinesis is coming off cooldown, and you still got that burst heal. The rest of MVP not wanting to get involved.
I think he would like to keep the Shadow Wave as long as possible. They can actually heal bomb the Spiderlings right now. It's a really, really powerful play that comes out of nowhere. Like you find the Naga in the jungle, you find someone with the Spiderlings, and you just deal 500, 600 burst physical damage with that. He already there, just putting so much pressure on QO. How often do you see a Rubik support zoning away a Quap?
Not very often, but when it's FY and he does it again, he might even get the kill! He still Scream! FY! Unbelievable! That was quick. That was efficient.
Let him do that.
And KP's down for the count as well. The coverage of Spiderlings here from VG Gaming. Difficult to keep up, but they can just keep the momentum going. Febby, you might Shallow Grave now, but you'll want it later. There's no way to TP out. This one being dragged back in the Lina. Super with a double kill. The Aghanim Scepter fully done in March. Well, the Invisor is the only thing that's saving him from this rampaging VG.
And it was looking good for a moment with that Radiance pickup. Now it's looking pretty grim again very quickly for MVP. And VG, you know, it's also got to be really frustrating for QO. He's had a really hard game. He gets his Aghanim, he's like, yes, now I'm ready to fight. You get soloed by the enemy position 4. It's kind of a big momentum breaker here. Vici Gaming are...
He can actually kill Hao right now and burn the Aegis, the Immortal, but to do so, he'd lose his life. To blink in a Sonic Wave, March with a... Okay.
He's just showing off.
He takes the Creep Wave. He's just dodging the attacks of the tower by doing that. No damage has to be taken by Hao. He's Naga Illusions. Actually, Shallow Grave one of them to get the Radiance Burn time over on Hao with the rockets hitting hard. Down to 90 life.
That's a pretty nice play, actually. If they had another Rip to it, I think they would have killed him there. And if nothing else, MVP by time. They did not lose their tower. There's enough gold on KP right now to buy an ultimate orb or a Yasha, and I think it is...
It's a Boots of Travel recipe
first. Okay, so he's going to disassemble. So maybe he's going to go straight Octarine Core before the Manta. I think that's a build we see quite often. The problem with this game is that he dies to Solo Storm. He doesn't have an Orchid counter, so can very easily be abused here by Hao if he's looking for it.
I love the stat. Does flag the fact that FY was the man that bought the mech for VG Gaming.
Oh, I kind of have no other mech carrier.
No.
It's very, very good against the Radiant team.
It's just unusual.
Gaming, they're already considering their win condition, right? They're going to want to push the base at some point. And for that to be as easy and swift as possible, I would say mech is absolutely required, and pipe is very good when you're pushing against Naga, because the way she holds is that she'll send out like one illusion at a time with a little bit of Radiance Burn and a Riptide. You kill off one, the next one comes, the next one comes, and then maybe the wave doesn't even reach. But if you just pipe the wave, she simply cannot cut it. And you ensure you get into the base. It's one of the better items for high ground sieging, but no one is remotely close, so it makes me think that Vici Gaming aren't planning for it.
I'm not so sure about Ice with his movement through the Radiant jungle. Like, keeping the Spiderlings out here is a problem for MVP, but Naga Siren has just sent a couple of illusions over and farmed them up quite nicely. So you're able to find some extra income coming in for the Naga. It's not the most fantastic income, but it's still something. Because with the illusion spread, all you gotta do is just a little bit of work.
Ideally, when you're a Naga at this point in time, you want to be farming the enemy jungle while they want to farm it. But Vici are just giving them the day. They don't really care so much about their own jungle right now. They're more about controlling the enemy jungle, going for the aggressive plays. Here's the Orchid. Yeah, for Hao, by the way. This is when it gets really scary. The solo pickoff potential is so much higher. There's no hero on the Radiant he can't solo. He can actually literally just pick whatever hero he wants to kill and kill it if Dazzle isn't there, or Naga with a song.
He might have some issues with a Quap though. Having both the Ogre Club and the full Aghanim Scepter.
I think he can still kill it from full. It might be close though, you're right.
It's a lot of life. Long jump going after Nuts. Gonna drag him back. Well, you wanted a solo kill, you got one. Nuts will pop here to Hao. And that's gonna give him his 11th Bloodstone charge. The BT's got the Naga. Instantly trying to force in the middle lane. The hook shot off target again from March. Ice was farming up the Radiant Ancients, and they saw it quite clearly. The Observer Ward was there, but the Ancient got in the way.
And Ice going for an interesting combat Brood build here. I feel like Sanjay Yasha Brood doesn't get played very often.
It's normally more of that more push kind of style.
Yeah, either the push style or the Dagon.
Yep.
And this could have been I think this could have been a good game for the Dagon build, but they might just be considering, once again, win condition. How do we high ground? If you have more of a battle Brood, it's easier to siege the tower for him.
Well, the panel was saying, like, the problem where you have, like, heroes like Earthshaker, Lina, and Rubik, they're not really that great at getting up on the high ground and taking out these tier 3 towers. Storm Spirit's in the same situation. So Ice has to be that tanky guy they just put in the front line that's able to beat down the towers. Or you win through split push only.
Or they get an Aegis and then Hao can do it. But he doesn't hit that hard. Then again, if it was the base break build they were going for, he could have considered a Deso, which we've seen a couple of times as well. We'll see how this works out. It's a little unusual.
Still finding so much space for KP. Like, the Yasha is done. The Naga just keeps coming out and finding the Spirelings, attempting to block up camps. But he gets a couple of them and then farms up the side lane too. An MVP, that's like proof for smoke, and in fact that's exactly what it is. An Invis Rune triggered by the Naga Siren. They do have the Song of the Siren. But there's Sonic Wave of cooldown in 4 seconds time, but yeah, they go opposite directions. And VG Gaming are not near these smoked heroes. Unless MVP loop around, they're probably more on the hunt for the Broodmother. They've got Dust over on Febby, as well as Sentry Wards on both Febby as well as Nuts. So they need to find some opening. Here's that loop we were talking about. Fenrir hiding in the tree zone. He's going to blow the smoke early, and they're going to ping out the fact he's there. With the weave, they reveal it off. Where's that paralyzing cast bounce? Not going to come. Malediction also off target. So no joy here for the MVP movement out. But again, VG Gaming. It's this slow push to victory.
They keep gaining. They're gaining against the Naga. That's not what you want to see when you're an MVP team.
They have 21,000 experience advantage right now for VG Gaming, with 14k in the gold as well. It's just... It's a slow death. It's a slow death for MVP. The only real hope is what happens when VG finally make the push into the tier 3 tower. Either it becomes a trade-off where QO is desperately trying to farm his BKB. They've all got to come back now because they're seeing VG coming. But you do have really great team fight abilities. If you can drop all the armor down of VG, that Death Ward can do more work. March has great initiation up. QO with that Sonic Wave. That's if he survives this. In comes your hookshot. Tries to buy the space. The paralyzing cast. Bouncing back and forth. The Echo Slam looking for more damage. QO will jump out. There's your Death Ward going to work. But you're in real trouble for March. The Sonic Wave. House still alive. The Queen of Pain down. And Fenrir in the corner. Beating into March. The heal bomb is there. And Fenrir is so low on life. They need more damage. And they will actually get it from the Malediction. They jump back, attempted denial, not going to happen. It is 2 against 1. Febby being orchided up, so he can't even shallow grave the poor Naga Siren, who never even ultied. There is a buyback for the Naga Siren, but Clockwork as well as Queen of Pain are down for now.
Ice wasn't even there. He was just chilling. So it's like, great work, everyone.
He's just soloing Roshan by himself. The Naga Siren, there's the buyback. This might force VG Gaming back for now. And in fact, it will do so. They're TPing out. Ice, like, please, someone come and be my friend. Come to Roshan.
They got 3 kills. They force a Naga buyback. They get Roshan. 0 cost. They got a 2-2 tower. Bloodstone charges on Storm. Like, this is getting completely out of hand.
And Storm, is this going to be a Lincoln Sphere as well for Storm? Or what else do we look for him to get with a casual Perseverance?
Yeah, it's got to be. I don't think there's a better choice with this. I was considering Lotus, but I don't really see it. Let's go for that Battle Fury.
Well, he bought the Lincoln Sphere recipe, so luckily we'll avoid that one.
It would probably set the Battle Fury win rate for Stone Spirit to like 100% if he wins the game with that.
The stats men can have so much fun.
Generally, you don't go for style points when you're playing for $1.2 million, though. It's a little more important than your style.
Details. Well, there goes your Sonic Wave, also with the Death Ward super. Just too big, however, he'll still pop from the Malediction. So Witch Doctor will claim this. He Yule Scepters up. He's avoiding the damage, but it's not possible. There goes your Bloodstone charges. Just a couple of them, however. QO tried to come back in there to get the last hit before he could suicide. But you gotta lead down for only a short period of time. There's still a fair amount of charges there, so the death timer isn't that long. And KP, he's just taking up residence inside the Dire jungle, leaves a couple of illusions behind, then BT back to base. Let his illusions farm up the lanes instead. FY actually managed to complete an entire Greaves on this Rubik.
Is there anything valuable he can purge off? I guess not.
Strike. Yeah.
He can't really purge anything. There's no Orchid on Quad. Just going for BKB.
It's all about survivability and just, I say living through the fights, but Hal just jumped in so deep. He's got to support the Song of the Siren. It gets off. Super Digger that Light Strike array out. And KP, they want to walk back. They don't have TPs available. Those BTs are still on cooldown.
That's just a flat-out misplay from Hal there. If he Orchids the Naga, they kill her. And she bought back before that. This could have probably been the lane of Rax, as well. Radiant will lose their courier.
Hookshot down. They find an opening. It's actually going to be FY jumping in with a scream. I say hookshot. It wasn't even the Clockwork. Ow! Bowls over the Naga Siren, and he'll go in deeper. Orchids on Febby. The paralyzing cask. It's going to actually trigger the Lincolns. No way to bounce. And hookshot out. Now it's a real one. It's March, but FY, he's still got the Queen of Pain blink. March isolated outside the base. Laguna down, and Hal dragging Febby back. It's a double kill for Super, and this will be the opening they wanted to push up, take the tier 3 tower. And it's going to be a split push as well as Broodmother. Ice want to prove he can be just as Nagary as Naga, as he will pick up his own Radiance and just split push down tier 3, top and bottom.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
You haven't seen him near a fight for the last 15 minutes.
Oh, they got QO.
He's just chilling.
Yep, doesn't care. Glimmer Cake won't protect QO. They drop the Central Ward inside the base, and QO's down for the count. This could be it right now. There's no way for Nuts to survive. They're losing too many players time and time again. No buy for anyone on MVP. There's just no money. There's no economy. MVP are trapped inside their well, and that's the only thing that protects them at the moment. The rest of this map is fair game for Hal.
Ice has a Radiance in base, another 2,600 gold.
He could just walk down and pick it up from the Radiant base if he wants to.
Just chilling.
That's what it's all about. Give that man a beverage. Hal jumps in again. Orchid's over on March, gonna drag him back. They protect him with a shallow grave here from Febby, but they need more damage to kill off Hal, and even then, he's got the Aegis Immortal Naga up in the air. No Song of the Siren. Can they kill her off in time? KP, real trouble. Echo Send, there it is. GG, well played. VG Gaming will advance, and MVP, the crowd favorite, will be eliminated heavily by VG. It was just a solid performance by VG Gaming throughout both the games of the series, and a real rough draft as well for MVP.
I think MVP had to play completely out of their minds to win the game. In my opinion, they got outdrafted very clearly in this game. The Brood pick caught them off guard. They didn't have any solution. Ice created all the space in the world for their cores to shine. The Storm and Lina both getting blood.